Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sabdi, and in today's video I'm just going to be talking about my experience with running not just one half marathon but 3 half marathons back to back, and just giving a couple pointers and tips for those of you that are training or are trying to run your first half marathon. So to start off with, I've always enjoyed running. Running is something that I love to do. I feel like it helps me in times when I'm stressed or in times when I'm anxious. Running is just something that I do. I'll go out and start running, and then when I get back, I just feel this calmness in me, and I think that is why I really truly enjoy it. It's something also that just comes natural for me. So it can be a couple weeks that I haven't ran, and then I'll go out and I can still run without really like struggling to run. So it's something that comes natural and that I truly just enjoy. And so one day I just woke up and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna sign up for a half marathon. Now, I've always wanted to run a half marathon, but I just never had the courage to sign up for one because I was never like committed. So I told myself, I'm just gonna sign up for a half marathon. So I signed up for my first half marathon, and this one was here in Delaware where I live. It's the C&D Canal Half Marathon, and this half marathon took place on November 17th of 2019. So this was my first half marathon ever, and I remember training for this half marathon maybe 2 to 3 months before it took place, and I was very like determined to run this one because I was determined and committed because I had paid for it and I had told myself I was going to run it. And so that morning of that half marathon, I remember that I only got about 2 hours of sleep. I got up, I was at the race location at like 5:30, and the race started at like 7. And luckily, for it being my first half marathon, it was like a straight shot on flat, like a flat ground, like it was like on concrete. And then you had to like go around in a circle and come back. And I did not know what to expect for it being my half marathon. I did not use the potty at all. Like I didn't have to use the bathroom at all. I don't remember eating at all the day before because of how nervous I was. Like I didn't want to stop in between my race and go use the bathroom. And I do remember stopping at every station to get a drink because I was like so thirsty. I didn't carry like any water. But I remember within the first mile, I started having pain on my right leg. My ankle was hurting, and I was like, darn it, like I'm already in pain. And I tried to like mentally not think about it because that helps me. So eventually I just didn't think about it. Seeing everybody running, it was so encouraging that I just kept going, kept going, kept going. When I was coming back, like mile 11, mile 12, mile 13, I remember like half of the group was way ahead. I think they had finished, and then the other half was like with me in the very back. And I remember I separated from the back of the group and continued like running. I got faster during the last couple of miles, and I ended up by myself. And I remember crossing the finish line, and I was crossing the finish line by myself because I pretty much ran the last 3 miles by myself. And the guy on the microphone, like he spoke out and he was like, we still have the other half coming. Half of the racers have finished, the other half are still running. And I just felt so good because I had finished. I was so excited. I can't even begin to explain how like exciting it was to know that I was so determined to run this half marathon, and I was just so proud of myself that I had done it. And I couldn't believe that I had ran my first 13.1 miles straight. And I don't know, it's just like a feeling of like, you just feel like you can, if you can run 13.1 miles, you can do anything that you put your mind to. And that was very exciting. My second half marathon took place in Pottstown, PA. And that half marathon I ran on December. It was exactly December 15 of 2019. And that day, it was so cold, and we stayed at a hotel for the weekend. I remember that we went to a brewery and we had drinks and we had pizza, and the next morning I woke up, we took our puppies, we took our dog, and then we took out the puppy we had just gotten, and we were potty training her, so we were like a little bit hesitant but we took them. So we were all there. I was running. That race was so hilly, so windy, and so cold because it was December in PA. And I remember I wasn't like mentally there, nor was I physically. I think my body just kept going because I kept telling myself like, you have to finish. So like my legs just kept moving. But that one was really hard because I don't know, it was just hard for me because I don't think I was like mentally there, and for me I have to like be mentally ready, and on top of it being very hilly. Overall, that race was very enjoyable. I did throw up for the first time. With my first half marathon, I did not throw up. I was just nauseous after it, but with the second half marathon, I did throw up, and I think it was because of the drinks and like the pizza that we had the night before. So that was like really gross. Other than that, it was a very like nice trip to Pottstown, PA. I had never been there, so we did enjoy our time there, and I was just so proud of myself for just finishing that race because, like I said, it was like a complicated one because of all the hills. Anyone who has ran hills knows how hard it is to run on them and how tiring they are. So I was just proud of myself for that. On top of the wind, like I remember finishing up, like almost crossing the finish line, and I got like this little like spinful, like it literally felt like a little hurricane of leaves like all around me, and I was like, like I could not breathe. And that happened to me right before I crossed the finish line, but once I was done, I felt good besides the throw up. And so my third half marathon experience was in January of 2020. So I did them back to back because once you run one, you get so excited. At least I got so excited, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna run a second one. And then after I ran the second one, I was like, all right, I'm gonna run a third one. So that one took place at Holden Beach, North Carolina. And that one took place January 18 of 2020. So we drove to North Carolina and we stayed there for the weekend, and that race was so beautiful. Of course it was cold still, even though it was North Carolina, it was cold, but the race was so beautiful because we went over like a bridge in the beginning, and once we went over the bridge, the sunrise was coming, and you could just see the sunrise while riding over the bridge, and it was just so beautiful. That race took place like at a beach, so again, it was complicated because those of you who have ran on sand know how exhausting that is on your feet, and so I had to like suck it up. And again, I think I wasn't like mentally prepared for this, so like my body, like my legs just kept going because I kept telling myself to keep going. I'm the type of runner that once I'm running, I can't stop, because if I stop running, I just give up. And I know everyone's different. Some runners like to stop and give themselves a break if they're tired, and then they continue to run. I'm the opposite. I have to keep going even if I slowed down, but I still have to keep going. I cannot stop like 100%. So the whole time I was running. And once we crossed the finish line, I received my medal, and that was actually one of the biggest medals I have received or I have ever seen. So that was exciting. I did throw up after that race again. So this race I threw up because I think it was like the seafood and the wine, honestly. No regrets because the food was so good, and I just kind of like let my body take over, but I did throw up. So that sucked. Other than that, the trip was beautiful, it was well needed, and I truly, truly enjoyed the race. And I think there's something about like running with other people. I just enjoy it because there's people of all ages. There's people like, with strollers. There's people like, you just like feel this vibe that everyone just wants to finish. And so it was just very encouraging. And I'm like, you know what? If, this 80-year-old is running, I can do it. So that's kind of like very encouraging when you run in a group. And overall, my experience was great. My goal was to continue to run. Like, I wanted to run a half marathon for 12 months straight, and then also at the same time train for a full marathon. Unfortunately, once February of 2020 came around, I don't know what happened. I think something came up where I couldn't run that month. And then in March, COVID happened and a lot of the races got canceled. And so I couldn't run and I had to postpone. Well, the race that I had signed up for was postponed. So since then, I haven't ran a race. So now that we're in January of 2021, like a whole year later, I wasn't able to run a race. And for me specifically, I feel like signing up for races encourage me to keep running, and that's just me. I think everyone's experience is different, but for me, like, those help me and encourage me, and I just enjoy them. Like, I enjoy meeting new people. I enjoy everything about it. And so I just wanted to share with you guys and show you guys my medals from those races that I'm very proud of. So medal number one is this one from the C&D Canal in Delaware. So this is the first medal that I got, and from my first half marathon, and I'm very proud of this medal in this race, because this race taught me that I am capable of anything that, like, I put my mind to. And I was able to run 13.1 miles, and that itself, like, encouraged me to keep running and keep signing up for other races. And I kind of, like, proved to myself that I could do it. And I think that was, like, the best thing for me, just knowing that I could do it. So this is my first medal from my first half marathon in Delaware. The second medal from the second half marathon in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, was this one, the Sly Fox race. This one was a challenging one because it was very hilly and windy and cold, but again, very enjoyable. And I am also very proud of this one because I ran on hills. So this is the second medal. And then the third medal was from the third half marathon in January of 2020 at Holden Beach, North Carolina. And this one is huge. Like, this medal is so big that when I received it, I was just like, wow, like, this is huge compared to the other three. If you compare them, you can see the size difference in them, and you can just see how big this third one is. So these are the three medals from those three races that I did back to back. Again, whoever is planning or wants to run a half marathon, I really, really, really encourage you to just do it. Don't overthink it, just do it. If, you know, I feel like overthinking it, just, at least in my opinion, overthinking it causes me to just not go for it. And I'm very spontaneous, so I'm just like, let's do it. So overall, my favorite race was probably the first one, and that's because for my experience as a half marathoner for the first time, I didn't know what to expect, and that race was like very, like, for me, easy. It was very, like, easy for it being my first race, and I actually trained and was, like, mentally and physically ready for that one, that I was, like, giving it my all, and I actually, like, got the best time out of the three. The other two, I was, like, either mentally or physically there. I think was exhausted because I was doing back-to-back half marathons, but the first one was just, like, the one that was like, you got this. And so I have 5 tips for those of you that want to run a half marathon or are training for a half marathon. And, like, my tip number 1 would be to just, like, stay committed. So have a plan and stay committed to that plan. And if you're running, for example, I was doing like 3 to 5 miles during the week. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday or so, I was doing 3 to 5 miles. And then on the weekend, I was doing a long run of like 8 to 11 miles. So that was my plan. And my goal was to stay committed to that because that helped me with the, like, being able to run my distance. The second thing that I want to mention, my second tip would be to stay hydrated. So I learned this after my first half marathon. I don't like wasting time stopping to, like, get water from the stations. So after my second half marathon, I bought one of these, and these were amazing. Like these. This was amazing. Basically, it goes around your hand like this, and I just was holding it while running, and then whenever I was thirsty, I would just like drink. And if you're like trying to have a good time and not be stopping every time there was like a water station, this is great for that. So get yourself one of these and just stay hydrated during the race, because you will get thirsty. I got this at like Dick's Sporting Goods, I believe. So definitely stay hydrated. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3 would be to just make sure that when you're eating the day before, you don't eat something, because if you eat something that will be harmful for you or that is too heavy, you will throw up. I've thrown up. I threw up 2 out of those 3 races. I threw up after. So just make sure you eat something that will not make you sick the next day or make you want to throw up. My tip number 4 would be to stay motivated during the race. So for me, whenever I started to get tired, I would just think of something that would help me continue to keep running. I would be like, okay, like I need to get, if I was on mile 4, I'd be like, okay, I need to get to mile 6. And then from mile 6, I'd be like, okay, I need to get to mile 10. And just thinking and staying positive was very helpful for me. And like listening to music, like I have to listen to music while I'm running. So if you need to listen to music while you run, do it. If you don't need music, then don't do it, but just stay positive and like encourage yourself while you're running. Encourage yourself and be like, you know what, I got this, like I can do it. If someone else that's older than me or someone else that like, you know, that you see maybe is struggling a little bit is running and staying positive, you can do it too. So that would be my tip number 4, is just stay positive. And then tip number 5 would be to just have fun and don't compare yourself to others. Everyone who's running a half marathon, there's like those that are experienced and those that are first timers. And so don't compare yourself to those that are finishing before you or are passing you, because they've probably ran hundreds of these. And if this is your first half marathon, you don't want to compare yourself to that. Just stay positive and just be like, I'm going to finish this race. And as long as you finish, if you have to walk to finish, you go ahead and walk. Like I said, me personally, I can't stop. So I just keep moving my legs and feet and just don't stop until I'm done crossing that finish line. But don't compare yourself to others and just enjoy the run. So those would be like my 5 like overall tips for those that want to run a marathon, a half marathon for the first time, or for those that are training to run a half marathon. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and please like and subscribe and hit that notification button. Thank you and have a blessed day. Bye.